the latest experts, and we just talk about the leading industry marketing for either Amazon, e-commerce, or just social media in general. Today we have Stephen Pope on, which is the Amazon guy. He runs the business called My Amazon Guy, which is awesome. I love that business name. And he's going to go through an intro of who he is, what he does, and then we'll dive into the conversation about Amazon SEO, design, and best practices with him. I can't wait to talk about it. Yeah, Stephen, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, Victor, lots of mad respect for what you do and what you do for the Amazon space. You have created a great community, so props to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I don't think anybody cares about who I am. They care about what I have to say, which is why I called my brand My Amazon Guy, because you just want to talk to the Amazon guy. You don't really care who the expert is or supposed, right? So, but me in a nutshell, I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. We have 200 brands that we manage full service, everything from PPC and SEO, which drives traffic, and everything that improves conversion rates in the form of design and catalog management. And we do all the basic stuff. We have over 175 employees in 10 time zones. And what a regular brand would see on their own account over the course of a year, we see twice a day. And so it's fun. You got to see a lot of things.
And yeah, it's honestly kind of nice to manage multiple accounts so that way you see like individual things that may happen on an individual level. So you see like, okay, in one account, like they might get a beta for something, and then another account they don't. And you definitely get to see a lot of what we call Amazon related scenarios that are just horrible and interesting. Let's just say that.
I moved the video on my screen. Did that affect the viewer too?
Yeah, we switched places, but we can trade places. And really
my camera's right here, and I'm trying to look at you. So I was like, I'll just move him over here.
Yeah. I'll be over here right now. So that's
all
fine.
Right. We're playing switcheroo.
Good.
All right, you run My Amazon Guy, and I'll run your ship while we're
okay. Let's switch places for a day. I think we'll be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be good.
But yeah, let's dive into some Amazon SEO things. It's definitely a really important concept because you can send all the traffic in the world, whether it's external traffic, PPC traffic, no matter where it is. Like if you do not get your product page and SEO right, it's really like it really just comes down to like your product page and making that increase, because the Amazon has the highest like conversion rates ever, because on an e-commerce site you might get a 3% conversion rate if you're awesome. If you're really good, you get a 3% conversion rate. A low conversion rate on Amazon is 20%. So like it's super important to get right. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about SEO and design and kind of optimizing that process.
I feel like I'm always like the one guy in the room that says that it's, traffic is more important than conversion, right? So like if we run the poll on LinkedIn right now, I know that the audience results will be at least 75% of people will say conversion's more important. 25% of people will say traffic's more important. So I'm a traffic guy. Yeah. Now, mind you have to do both. It's not a chicken or an egg question.
Yeah.
But in any case, let's dive into SEO. So a couple of weeks ago, I broke some really big news in the space, and it's been making some headways. On my one LinkedIn post, I ended up tagging all of the SEO tools and throwing some shade. And I was like, hey guys, guess what? Okay. You're all wrong. and so for the viewers that are watching this, why should you care? Well, bottom line is this. I found something that means that you can get access to 20% more SEO juice with this one understanding. Mm-hmm. And for the last couple of years, my team has been managing this correctly for our clients, mm-hmm. but all of the SEO tools were incorrectly telling you to do it a different way. So I'm going to break that down. This is the part where I want to share my screen a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
And so for those of you who are watching this at your computer, you are more than welcome to replicate this yourself right now. So this is one of my listings on the back end, okay, and inside of Seller Central, and I'm going to go over to the keywords field. So I'm going to take this list of keywords, and this is on my duplicate SKU, so you didn't see that filled in. And I'm just going to show you something. So I'm going to just hold down A, right, like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it one more time. And what I'm trying to do right now is trigger this error message. Please reduce your generic keyword length to less than 250, wait for it, bytes.
Yeah.
And there's a major difference here between bytes and characters.
Yeah.
So all of the SEO tools on the market right now with very minor exceptions since they patched it since I made this announcement. Zonguru, shout out for you guys. You guys have patched it. We're talking Helium 10, Jungle Scout, they still haven't fixed it. They were telling all of their consumers that they should count characters. So why does this matter?
Yeah.
Well, essentially, if you count characters instead of bytes, and I'll make a mnemonic device so people remember this. I'm going to go, right? I'm going to bite you, right?
Yeah.
If you don't count bytes and you're incorrectly counting characters, you are ignoring spaces inside of your search term field ultimately. And if you ignore spaces, which is what you should be doing, you'll have SEO juice of 20% more incremental. And so if you think about this, if all the tools are saying, hey, we're counting the spaces, you should go up to 250 characters, you are underfilling this field. This is an easy fix because as you saw me demo there, in less than 5 minutes, you could fill in that extra 20% with more keywords. Why does that matter? Because then you can index for more keywords, which means show up on Amazon for hundreds of more keywords because you placed it into the search term field. So this is major groundbreaking information. So not only does Seller Central's field right there back me up, but so does their help file. And if you look at the Amazon help file, it's as clear as night and day. It says literally, we do not count spaces. We also don't count commas. So let's take a step back and go 5 years back, maybe even a little bit, probably more like 7 years back. There was this big fight in the Amazon SEO space about whether you should have commas or not in your search term field. And without a doubt, you should not have commas. And here's why. In a run-on sentence of keywords in the back end of your search term field, if you put commas in, you are signaling to Amazon to not combine or permutate each of these phrases. So if you have a product like dog shampoo, if you put the word dog and put a comma, and then you put the word shampoo, you are separating these out. So you are selling something to dogs and something related to shampoo, but not dog shampoo.
Yeah.
Versus having dog shampoo, clean, hair, mutt, Labrador, Labradoodle, whatever you want. All of those will combine, permutate together, and you'll get lots of more SEO juice. So we've seen a lot of these really basic things. We're going super technical out of the gate on this presentation today to drive home a point. All of the news in the last few months has been about fake reviews. You can't request reviews anymore, and you can't do rebates and all this external traffic hoopla, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you got to get back to the basics. Now, when I made my agency, of course, I was looking around and all the brands out there. I was saying, yes, I could do that for you, Mr. Brand. I'll run your Facebook ads. Yes, Mrs. Brand, I'll do Facebook for you. But today, I am just my Amazon guy. 10 out of 10, system build in very specific areas. And we've had to reduce the amount of services we offer. But any service we offer when it comes to SEO, PPC, catalog, and design is a 10 out of 10 super dry cut right in the middle of Seller Central. And so we don't drive external traffic. We don't do TikTok. We don't do Facebook. You need another agency for that. And the reason why I dialogue like this is to drive home a point. If I'm able to build a 200 brand agency just doing the basics, maybe the basics work.
Yeah. You're 100% right with that.
All right. So I'll give you one more SEO thing that happened. So this is about a year and a half ago. I had to convince the market. I like to think of myself as the number one industry leader, thought leader when it comes to SEO on Amazon. So a year and a half ago, I started making a lot of posts about how A+ content indexes. And we, ultimately, bottom line is this: you need to add 500 words of copy into your A+ content. Get a lot of pushback from the designers of the world, right? It's not aesthetically pleasing by any stretch, right? But as we established in the intro of our discussion today, if traffic is easier to double on Amazon than it is to double your conversion rate, you should put way more resources into traffic. And it also means you should take a hit on your designs to input text into the A+ content damaging your conversion rate, arguably, because everybody's looking on their mobile phone when they look at the A+ content. It's nice and beautiful. It's aesthetically pleasing, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you need to put 500 words of copy in there and chock full of keywords. And for those that are still suspicious, you didn't see my content from a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and you're like, I don't believe Steven. I don't think A+ content indexes. Guess what? Here's the scientific method and hypothesis that you can replicate right now at home. Go into your A+ content, hit edit on it, hit edit on one photo, and put in 100 characters of alt text of Spanish keywords. And I guarantee you, this is going to work best in the US market, of course, I guarantee you that within 48 hours, it will index for those Spanish keywords, proving A+ content indexes. So we just went over 3 big SEO developments from 7 years ago, 2 years ago, and a couple weeks ago, showing that if you just fundamentally understand how the algorithm actually works on Amazon, you're going to be able to index for thousands of more keywords and drive lots more traffic. Very, very big news.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that really makes a lot of sense from the traffic standpoint, especially from trying to take as much Amazon market share as possible. But we actually end up doing external traffic to the Amazon listing through Facebook, through TikTok, and things like that. So that way we can push that external traffic and increase the amount of ranking on the particular Amazon listing to take more of Amazon's market share. So that is like
and to be clear, I actually think that's a good idea. We just don't do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So basically that way you, as you saw from Q4 of 2021, Amazon cost like rose dramatically. CPCs like
35% up, big time.
Yeah. So it was huge cost per click rising, and it was really difficult for a lot of people to advertise because the costs were so high. So they basically had to pivot to the external traffic because it was way cheaper. So what do you think is the best strategies now when it comes to PPC to get the best bang for your buck, really? Like we saw sponsor brand videos about 6 months ago. They performed really well, and now a lot of more people started pouring money into it, unfortunately. So now it's a less good as a placement. So
they also started banning like video animations, which I thought were going to take Amazon by storm. I was super excited.
Yeah.
Right. Like you see the dog tail wagging video animation ad. It was like the coolest thing on the market. Right.
Yeah.
I loved it back when I saw that clip. All right, so I'm going to show a product to demonstrate some of this next part. So this product I'm showing you guys is a mom gift box. I launched this product 3 weeks before Mother's Day, and this product did $144,000 in the month of May with $11,000 on PPC spend, and one keyword was about $5,000 of that spend, and it was gifts for mom. And so this is a leading proof that you can still launch a product. Amazon's not too late to launch products on and take a wave by storm and just have an explosive result. So this is a great use case study to prove that you don't need external traffic, that you can do all the basics and still pull off a major win on the table. But there was a lot of mistakes or a lot of learnings. I guess they weren't mistakes. They're more like learnings along the way that we figured out. And just to drive home that A+ content, comment earlier, I want to show you how much space we take up. How many of you guys watching this have your brand story done? I'd love to hear in the comments. Do you guys have a brand module up right now? Do you even know what the brand module is? Most likely you do not. And this is in the US market, the brand module is extremely important. This is an additional space that you can take up a bunch of space on Amazon. And of course, as you scroll down, the reason why we want to take up space is because as you scroll down here, what do you see? All of your competitor products. So the more space you take up, the less likely you're going to lose them down that rabbit hole. So one of the things you'll notice from my A+ content, it is not only does it have the brand module, has the A+ content modules, which has 6 modules, has lots of big pictures, lots of text, 500 words of copy, helps it index, does all that stuff. And so as we start to talk about PPC, one of the most important things you got to have done before you do PPC is have everything optimized for that PPC to work. So this is where I'm going to talk conversion for a brief moment. You have to have all of the secondary images filled in. You have to have the video. We show an unboxing where we showcase this, right? And I have this box behind me. I'll grab it. It's a really big box, right? And I'll showcase the. Let's see, I might have muted or adjusted my volume there. And so as we do the unboxing, you can see like,
So excited.
you know, there's a big box here, and it's a big gift item, and it's cool, and so you see all the confetti, and it's special. It's got a card and all that good stuff, right? You got a wine tumbler and some lotion, and by the way, we had to buy a machine to like put lotion into bottles, and the pistons were like misfiring, and so like lotion shot all over the manufacturer floor. It was really funny. So yeah, had lots of fun doing stuff like that. All right, so this is the product. So that's the backstory. We filled out all the bullet points. We had emojis in here because it's a gift item. It's fun. You can do emojis in there. We got the title fully optimized. We had all the secondary images. We got the A+ content for the brand, all of that good stuff. All right. So I've set the product up. And so when we launch this in PPC, the most important tip I'll give on PPC today is make sure you segment and set up all the ad types for launch. Because when you go to market, you need to show up with a video ad, a display ad, a sponsored product, a manual, an auto. You need to have ASIN targeting, all of them. There's a lot of PPC experts that'll say, oh, you start with this, then you go to this, and then go to this. I'm in more of the camp of do it all and let the data tell you what to do next.
Yeah.
And so it's obviously more expensive to do that, right? You heard me say I spent $11,000 on my product launch, but I also generated $144K back on a single SKU in less than 3 weeks. Yeah. So it depends on what you're looking to do, right? So like I wanted to go big. I was like Mother's Day. Fun fact about the keyword history on this particular keyword too, right? So like the volume behind this keyword was at like 600,000 2 years ago. And then a year ago, it was at 1.2 million. And that was during the big COVID spike. And then last year, it was even bigger. It was like 1.8 mil. So it went higher over the big e-com boom, which tells you what? It tells you that more consumers continue to come to Amazon and buy things that they previously didn't buy. And so there's huge amounts of opportunities. So if you take that into account and then you figure out what products you're going to launch, and then you spend the proper segmentation on PPC, 2,000 of that 11,000 spend, by the way, I wasted on display ads. Complete flop. We're talking like 2,000 and spend 3 units in sales.
Wow.
And I was testing out the segmentations for display, and I was using the audience targeting, and I was like, of course, new moms. Oh man, these new moms, they're gonna buy this product, of course, right?
Yeah.
Terrible idea. Did not work. So $5,000 though of that was spent on one single keyword, broad match, gifts for mom. And I'm telling you, this is what led my product to index for 3,500 keywords in less than 3 weeks. And I usually tell people a successful launch is 1,000 keywords by day 30, 1,200 keywords by day 60. So I pulled off 3,500 keywords in 3 weeks. I rode this giant wave. I ended up getting SEO ranked #1 for gifts for mom during the week of freaking Mother's Day. I had a single product review, one. No line, no rebates, no external traffic, right? So the point is you can do all of these great launch tactics by just following the basics and segmenting everything out and doing everything within Seller Central. So that's my use case story, really successful launch. But the next thing I want to talk about is the design. So when we were doing this product, we weren't sure things were going well. Specifically, when I started launching the product, the first 72 hours, I only got 3 units in sales. And I'm like, oh, frick, I have 4,000 units to go through. What do I do? Right? Everybody's been there. You guys have all had a launch that did not go according to plan. So let me show you how I troubleshot that. So I'm going to share my screen again and go into PickFu. I'm a big fan of PickFu. Just to give them a small plug. You can get 50% off PickFu if you go to pickfu.com/myamazonguy. You're going to want to after you see how much of an impact it made for us. So here I'm going to show you some A/B tests. So here's A/B test 1. Here is the photo I launched with my main photo when I went out of the gate. And Victor, I want you to criticize this. What's your first thought when you see this photo on the left?
There's a lot going on. That's what I see. There's a lot going on. My eye can't focus on one particular thing.
So survey says Victor is correct. So, more comforting, better to look at, a lot going on is probably somewhere in this list somewhere, makes it clear. I'd say that supports you what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So this is a competitor product. I just took my image versus the competitors just to see what survey would say, which would I be more likely to click on while shopping on Amazon. So this is our starting place. I'm already behind my competitor and I haven't even launched my product. I got a problem. What is the solution? Change the main image. So let's go back to my list of PickFood tests here. So I ran a second test. Instead of testing against my competitor, I took my original and I tried a close-up shot. Well, survey says 52-48. So I'm not fixing the problem. So what is the problem here? Well, I think that if we look back at the competitor product, we see the product on top of the fuzzy, whatever, I don't know what you call that. What would you call the fuzzy things that goes in the box?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever that is. So paper machete, whatever.
Yeah.
So some design artful person is going to add a comment and tell us what it is.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with you.
So I knew that there was a problem here. So what I ended up doing is and by the way, the reason why I was trying to do that this way, I really wanted people to know it came with a box. I really wanted to know that they came with a card. And I really wanted them to know confetti, maybe confetti is the right word, that it came with some, it's got an experience to it. Well, I ran 3 more tests, and just to expedite the end of the story, I ended up with this, which is similar to the competitor, but also a little bit more emphasis on the card. And lo and behold, the day I loaded this photo, I sold 100 units.
Wow.
So what is the impact of a main image on Amazon? Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
Right? PickFood costs $50. I get your answer in an hour. Really, really helpful. I want to show just kind of one more unrelated test. So here's an example of a test where the only difference between these two things is the color of the packaging. And if you're wondering how much one color change can make, here's your answer: 66-34. Same product, same pills on the side here, same bottle shape. The only difference, blue boxed versus just kind of the white. And so if you're ever wondering, like, how do I improve my PPC results? How do I improve my conversion rate, my CTR, my click-through rate, my traffic, my indexing? Well, guess what? All of these things tie together, which is why when we talk about the holistic approach of combining all these things together, if you don't marry your SEO to your design or your catalog work to your PPC, you're not going to win on Amazon these days. The competition is too steep.
Yep.
Right? You got Amazon aggregators coming in from the left, and they're increasing the competition. And so, everybody knows about the story where Thrasio bought the orange dog shampoo bottle, right?
Yeah.
And the only thing that they did was freaking change the packaging, make the word big, and water down the product. That was it. And they 4 times the sales in like a few months.
Yeah.
So, and so like aggregators are coming in, buying your competitor products. You got to pay attention to this because your sales are going to go down because they're going to take your market share. So that's aggregators coming in from the left. You then have the Chinese coming in from the right. And what are the Chinese doing? Going direct to consumer for the first time.
Yep.
And they're lowering the price of commodities, which means not only do you have higher competition from the Amazon aggregators on the left, but you also have price pressure from the Chinese on the right.
Yep.
Now let's add one more thing on top of that.
Amazon
policies pushing downward and making it harder to sell on the platform to begin with. So Amazon's entering the maturity phase. And just as a couple of examples, you have just the other day, radio, RIFD, whatever, security things and policy you gotta put out, or you're selling in supplements and you need a COA done from a certain factory all of a sudden, but it's on every SKU instead of just a category gating, right? Yeah. So Amazon's making it harder to sell on the platform. Chinese are making the product cheaper, and the aggregators are making the competition stiffer. What do you do as a mom and pop Amazon seller? You have to do everything.
Yeah. That's a good way to say it. You got to do everything.
And if you don't,
Mhm.
you better hire an outsider, which is why I'm in business, and it's why Victor's in
Yeah,
business,
I
right?
always say if Amazon was easy to deal with, we would not have jobs. That's why it's so successful, because Amazon is so difficult to deal with and everything else. And they make it so difficult with all their particular issues that come up. And you didn't even mention like Amazon actually making a version of your product, putting it like their product number one in their placement and taking all those sales too. That's a whole other thing of Amazon just taking your entire business from there. So
So Amazon's a monopoly.
yeah.
I bite the hand that feeds me. Yes, thank you, Jeff Bezos. I was able to create 175 jobs because of you, but also you're an asshole, and Amazon's a monopoly, and you got it. All right, so we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
But like even experts like Victor and I, we can't get everything right all the time.
Yep.
And here's an example of where I got one wrong. So this is a hot sauce I launched on one of my brands called Monster, and it's a really fun product, right? I spent $1,500 building this label, and it's a great sauce, got great reviews.
Yep.
So here I'm thinking, hey, I'm running this as a lifestyle brand. I'm just going to ship my 1,000 units directly into Amazon, and I'm going to pay them to do the prep work.
Mhm.
Well, that didn't go exactly as I planned. So Amazon takes my 5-pound glass bottle, does the proper prep work of putting bubble wrap around it, throws on the F and SKU. Cool, we're in business. And then ships it out in padded envelopes.
Wow.
What the frick, Amazon? What the frick?
Wow.
So of course, I'm doing my launch. I got 150 sales in my first 72 hours, and 126 of them are damaged with sauce everywhere, everywhere. Right? Of course, like the UPS. You think the UPS driver is going to just politely sit this on the end of your doorstep? I'm sure. Yes, Amazon. That makes perfect sense. So I fought Amazon. I was like, ship my crap in a box. Are you guys retarded over there? Right? Like come on. Like, what the frick? So
yeah.
the bottom line of the story is everybody has to pay their tax, right? The Amazon tax. I feel like there are 50,000 jobs short in our space right now.
Mhm.
And just the other day I was looking at my payroll, and I realized, and this was 45 days ago, my payroll was 10% internships. And I was thinking about how hard it is to find talent right now in the Amazon space.
Yep.
And I said, what if I made that payroll 20%? So I did it. I went out and hired 35 interns in the last month. And now my payroll for interns is 20%. And so I feel like we have to train the next like crop of people that are going to help out in the Amazon space, because there's no freaking college degree to do what Victor does.
True.
Or what I do.
Yep.
Or what the Amazon sellers do. Right.
Yep.
And even the next best thing, like an e-commerce college degree right now, insufficient, because Amazon PPC, totally different than Google PPC.
Yep.
Your Shopify website, as we established, you would do way less A+ content on Shopify. You wouldn't put 500 words of copy, and you wouldn't put giant pictures on your website. So all the e-commerce degrees are worthless.
Yep.
Right. And so, just shameless plug here. If you're looking for a job in the Amazon space, send your resume to jobs@myamazonguy.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So what, I'm curious, Victor, what's your crazy Amazon story you've seen?
Basically, how I got started in this whole thing is basically I was good with Facebook ads. I became a web developer, learned SEO, then learned Facebook ads to drive to the website. And then my Amazon buddy said, hey, there's a way to send Facebook traffic to Amazon. And I'm like, really? And so that's when I started getting the ranking and everything else. And then all the clients that basically I started doing the ranking. I was one of the first people to kind of launch the ranking for Amazon. And then all the Amazon clients said, hey, we need help with Amazon too. Then I started getting introduced to the Amazon platform. And then here I am. So now I do the Amazon account management, do the external traffic behind it, and do the Amazon ads as well. And that's how I got started in all this. So it's totally different.
With your external traffic expertise, I want to ask you this. So I know this is your podcast. I'll turn it over back to you.
No worries.
But like, so this is I call it patch notes. And this was from last year. I was like, what are the Amazon SEO factors, right? So I thought that organic sales were taking a slight nerf. Reviews took a major nerf. And I feel like offsite sales, which is what you're talking about,
Yeah.
and PPC sales got buffed, right? And so whenever you talk patch notes, there's a zero-sum game here. So something has to win, something has to lose. Just curious, like how much have you seen like offsite sales really make a difference on SEO?
So it actually differs by platform. So actually, Google is much more prioritized right now than Amazon. So if you type in one keyword, Amazon will actually benefit you 3 times more by buying through Google rather than buying it through their own platform. So if you type in the keyword bedsheet on Amazon, um, there we go.
Sorry,
Buying
I
the
have too
keyword
many
on Amazon.
controls in a foreign land right now.
If someone types in the keyword bedsheet, that means if they buy that on Amazon, you'll see a slight rank increase. But if you buy it on Google by typing in the keyword bedsheet and then going to Amazon and purchasing, you will actually see a 3 times increase from that Google traffic. So Google and YouTube are very much prioritized right now when it comes to the ranking. Facebook a little bit. I would say that would be the baseline. And then I would say after that is all the various other traffic sources. But right now, Google and YouTube are on the buff level is extremely high right now from that standpoint. So differs by
And we saw
channel.
Facebook like do its privacy thing with the iPhones, and it was
Yep.
much harder to advertise. And there's like talks right now, the same thing might happen with Google, and it's crazy. So like
Yep.
it's a very crazy world out there right now.
It is
External traffic.
Yes, it like you have to keep up every 24 hours the latest thing. It's definitely a lot harder. I will guarantee that, but it's also where you can get a lot more business. So essentially, what really comes down to is brand, is building your brand, building up who you are. So that way, when people find you on Amazon, because there's always going to be Chinese companies that will break down your price, make it cheaper. And really what it comes down to is brand, essentially. So it's really important to like figure out where the latest thing is so that way you can guide that external traffic wherever you want. So that way you're basically always in control and you're not relying just on Amazon for your market share. So say if you do on TikTok, TikTok influencers, TikTok ads, Facebook, when you control the user from the brand, you can guide them wherever you want. If Amazon disappears tomorrow, we'll be able to guide that traffic to do your direct consumer, guide that to Walmart,
A little
wherever
bit
that
more
may
ownership.
be. We're able to control that user. So that way we're never at Amazon's will. So that way we end up controlling where the customer goes. So it's important.
I like that destiny control. That's a good point.
Yeah. And that way, like also Amazon benefits the sales velocity so much. And when Amazon like decides like during Q4, like when Amazon decides to double CPCs or whatever it may be, we're going to say, okay, Victor, rather than spending $100,000 on Amazon, let's start spending $100,000 on Facebook, on all these other traffic sources, since the expenses are only going to go higher. So that way you can have another traffic source to kind of work off of. And that way you get the sales rank, the velocity increase on and sales, and also the rank boost from it as well, because Amazon prioritizes that. So it makes it where it's like beneficial dramatically, especially with the brand referral link where you only have to the 10%. It's like an almost a no-brainer almost to do it for a lot of things. So yeah.
I like that.
But yeah, we do have a question that I want to go through real
Sure.
fast.
Yeah. Happy to take questions.
So does Amazon, this is from the audience, does Amazon de-index a keyword if basically what they're saying is if they add a keyword in and it indexes, can you de-index for that keyword if you take it off your listing?
This is a great question. And so really the heart of the question is can I rotate my keyword juice? And the answer is yes. And so we run 3 phases of SEO at my Amazon guy, and I'd be very happy to give out our free SEO phase 1 guide to your audience today. So all you have to do is post this link in the chat. I'm not sure how to get this link to you where we are right
you can
now.
chat it with me on the right side.
Okay, there it is. I see it now. All right, so I'll put this into the chat. You're welcome to share that if you'd like.
Yeah.
And so we run 3 phases of SEO, and this is the living proof that you can rotate out the keywords. And I'll walk you through this. So phase 1 is all about mass indexing. And if you index for lots and lots of keywords, you're in great shape because you're showing up for things for free. But during phase 2, when we go to that, we call it the pink word update. Right. And so phase 1 is all about best practices, get all the good things in there. Phase
Yeah.
2, though, is very, very specific. This is the shortest of our 3 phases we run. And you essentially rotate out the keywords that are already on the title and the bullets. And they're literally pink in the back end of Seller Central,
Yeah.
which is why we call it the pink word update. And you can find this yourself in the brand analytics, brand dashboard sections. And so you'll see here, here's an example: wine glass, funny, best, stemless gift, because are quote unquote low value terms. And so you can delete those and rotate in additional ones. This principle is true even if you don't do it just for pink words. If you, let's say I rotated out anniversary gifts, if you're number 1 for anniversary gifts and you take it out of the search terms, completely safe to do so. You'll maintain it. When we go to phase 3, though, we call it the strike zone update. And this is when you throw out the rules of phase 1 and 2, and you focus on just keywords that are in rank 20 through 50. And these keywords are in the strike zone, but they're not necessarily converting a lot of traffic, because as you could go right now on Amazon.com and type in any product, you'll see that the first landing page is completely 100% ads for most keywords.
Yep.
And as you scroll down, it's just chock full. So if you're in position 20 through 50, you might be getting 2 or 3% of the traffic at this point.
Yeah.
So these are words that could be generating lots of traffic, but they're not quite there. And so what you do is you take 5 or so keywords that are in ranks 20 through 50, pick them and redo the title, redo the bullets, update the search terms, update it in the A+ content, the copy. You're going for multiple instances of showing this keyword in every attribute humanly possible. And if you do all this, you will move the keywords up, and they'll move up and matriculate into the top 1 through 10, most likely. So, and all of those past gains that you did in the first phase or the second phase, you'll maintain those.
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. So with that in mind, like, I would think that Amazon, when it comes to the images and infographics, like, I would say that is the most important thing right now, especially like on mobile. What are your thoughts on using images? Because like when people open up like an Amazon product page, like that takes up 80% of your screen is the images. So we're basically pushing all
Yes.
clients to do infographics. That's a huge conversation we're having right now. And titles, that's a majority of what we push for, is like creatives on the infographic side to help really push that conversion rate and kind of take it to that next level. What are your like infographic suggestions or title suggestions there to kind of help improve that conversion rate there?
So I think you're completely correct, Victor. And so as an Amazon seller, the photos are for the consumer.
Yeah.
The bullet points and all the keywords are for the robots. And so if you can swallow that pill, and you can agree with me that SEO is more important than design, the one place where SEO doesn't have a major factor is in the main image stack.
Yep.
And so if you spend some extra time and you build these out, you're going to get farther with your product. And so let me share my screen one more time here and look at a product example. So right here, we did another 4 pick food tests, trying to run through like, what's the best way to show this? I wanted to show the box. Do the labels need to be on or off? 90 to 10, by the way, on that test. Labels on.
Wow.
Flour versus no flour, 70-30. People like the flour, gets clicks. So here's an example of one of my favorite infographics. I think it's just really, really helpful. It shows the product. It feels artisan because the soaps are, they look a little beat up, right? And then you have like all of the ingredients, and it's a very, very basic artisan product as you go down and kind of look at it. And so when a consumer is looking at this on a phone, they're going to be very delighted as they go through the image stack, right? They feel like, hey, I'm going to get a box. I get 4 products. Oh, wow, look at these ingredients. This is very colorful. Really want to emphasize it comes in a box, really want to emphasize it comes in a box, and it's really good for gifting. And I got these 2 images are just kind of placeholders until I get something better, right? Fairly new product. Whenever you're selling on Amazon, you can't get it perfect on the launch, but you got to work on it. And so, I sell between these 4 SKUs, I think I sell about 1,200 units a month right now. And so it just really, really helps to have some of that imagery and whatnot. And the A+ content, again, supportive here. Very, very good image, facial shot. You show the colors and the vibrant nature of the product, emphasize the box. That's not even my soap, but we had a Photoshop job, right? Like, and put the consumer in the experience that they're going to have when they use your product. these are the core things I think people have to do. I think secondary images are really critical these days to get the consumer to purchase the product. You have 10 seconds, if that, to get the consumer to decide, hey, is this what I was looking for or is this not? And if you don't show the target demographic in your secondary images, looking at the camera, smiling, and using your product, you are not going to help the consumer conclude that you are what they are looking for.
Yep.
And if you think about it, there are 4 things that Victor and I do as e-commerce marketers, right? Sell more products to more people more often for more money. And that 4th thing is the one that everybody forgets, right? Government's like, oh, it's 7.5% inflation rate. Oh, I'm sure it's only a 7.5% inflation rate. Quantitative easing is only 80% in the last 18 months. But yeah, 7.5%. Let me tell you. So just take their number and triple it. And that's the price you need to raise your product by this year. You need to raise your prices 21% in the year 2022. And if you haven't embraced that, guess what? You're a chicken. And every chicken is going to have to cross the road eventually and raise your prices this year.
Yep, I totally agree with that. And question to you about the main images. What do you see as the main, because as you know, Amazon basically, when it comes to banners, Amazon basically made it where you can't add like text on top of the image, like banners and things like that. And because Amazon will shut you down having that on your main image. What do you see as the biggest success? And I know that differs by product. You mentioned the flower, like having that flower on whatever product it may be. Do you always see, like, whether it's a supplement, adding the pills on the ground, and like doing things like that? What do you see as the biggest metric on the main images that people need to be doing? Really,
CTR.
Like, what
it's all about click-through rate.
Yeah.
If you don't have a high click-through rate, you are dead in the water. Higher click-through rate means more traffic. Higher traffic means more sales. More sales is better conversion, which then turns into better keyword rankings and rinse and repeat what we just talked about, right? And so, yes, you do need to have the pills on the front of it, because who wants to swallow an elephant pill? Not me, right? Like, give me the small pills. Give me the ivermectin super small pill size, right? Like, give me the pill that's easy to swallow. Well, most people that are buying supplements are generally older, right? They're older, and their health, they're worried about their health becoming a little bit more frail. And so nobody wants to swallow an elephant pill. So if you show your pills on your bottle, you need to make the consumer feel like, hey, okay, I could swallow that, right? Like, I could swallow that product. So these are things I think that are extremely important. The packaging has never been more important on Amazon today. Like, and so creating composite tests of your packaging before you go to print, run a pick food test, run an A/B test, try and figure out what's going to convert best, because it might be blue, it might be white. You don't know until you try. Also, showing the product in use in a main image, especially if you're doing like pets or baby products, you gotta really push the needle on this. There are some, there's a very wide area of gray area when it comes to the main image. Amazon will let you get away with a lot, but even if you end up getting banned or suppressed, it's a very quick fix. Like, you can fix this in like less than 15 minutes. And so I strongly advise like pushing the needle on main images and secondary images as much as humanly possible.
Yep. Yeah. And on your infographics, do you use do you A/B test through, I think it was called PigFu? Do you A/B test every infographic and test different infographics, or do you only do the main images?
So main image is so important. I spend all my time on that. It is possible to A/B test infographics. I just don't think it's as important. And so what we know is consumers want to see accessories in the main image. They want to see packaging in the main image. They want to see the product actual outside of the packaging in the main image. These are all best practices that we've established, right? What a typical Amazon seller might see over the course of a year, we see twice a day, because we manage 200 brands. We've seen it all. Right. And so we know that there's certain things. We got a lot of reps, right? Like, I see Victor over there. Look at that ripped guy, right? Like, he's done a lot of reps physically. And so you got to do your Amazon reps. You got to know like what works and what doesn't. But even still, even though we know, does a Labrador or a black lab do better on, shooing the chew toy on the main image?
100%.
Yeah. Like that could be an extra 10% clicks by running a pick food test. And if you're selling 1,000 units a month, that could be an extra 50 units a month, which justifies the test, right? So these are the things that really, really matter. I don't think a secondary image has as much of an impact, but you can absolutely see like which ones get the most clicks, which one gets. I just think the best practices are generally easier to apply to the secondary images, whereas
Yep.
the main images, like they won't even get to your product if you don't have that one right.
True. 100%. So it really comes down to creatives, really. At least the different perspectives of the product. So that way you can A/B test with them. Unfortunately, most people only have one image, that one standard image of the product. But yes, it would be helpful to like have either the powder on the front, the whatever, if it's a supplement, whatever it may be, and then testing that out so that way you can get more creative variation. That would be beneficial. And then adding in whatever you can basically from the creatives from there. So yeah.
I mean, I think we showed the one pick foo where I showed like labels on or off 90 to 10. Like it's crazy the amount of impact it can have.
Yeah.
If you find out like what's going to improve your CTR.
100%. And have you ever requested a product to ever rebrand, redo its packaging? Really?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. So nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah. I imagine.
Like, hey, my Amazon guy, why have my sales grown this month? Well, you see, we put 200 hours into your account. The thing is, people hate your packaging. No, it's your fault. You guys didn't do enough PPC work. Oh, your SEO sucks. Well, actually, we indexed you for another 1,000 keywords this month. We drew the traffic by 30%. They're not converting because they hate the look of your packaging. And here's the proof. I'll run a PickFu test. Your product versus the top competitor. I'll even let you pick. You pick the competitor. I'll run an A/B test right now. That's how confident I know your packaging sucks. Right?
Wow.
And it's like calling somebody's baby ugly, of course.
Yeah, no, like actually.
But like, here's the thing: you pay me lots of money, Mr. or Mrs. Amazon seller, to tell you you are wrong. You do. You pay me lots of money to tell you you are wrong, and I am right. And if you do it my way, you'll get better results. Otherwise, why are you paying me money? So
yeah.
And so obviously we don't do it as abrasive as I'm selling it here. But at the end of the day, like you have to make some tough decisions. You got to make changes. And what we do know is that putting one or two giant words on your packaging and making it super obvious what the frick you sell will generate way more clicks. It's night and day. We know that for a fact.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And we have one more question in there. That was an amazing point right there. And I've avoided using broad match on my PPC. I believe you mentioned using broad match with launch. Do you continue to use broad match even after your launch, or do you
100%.
end up going to exact match?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to pay way more for an exact match keyword. And so the reason why I like broad match is for the keyword iteration to index for hundreds of keywords super fast.
Yeah.
Really, really fast. So that's the biggest value. But once something is working, if the broad match keyword like hits your ACOS goal, why in the world would you turn it off? Right? Like here's the thing. Amazon is discounting broad match keyword targeting right now. So let's say your average bid on broad is $110, but on exact match it's $135, and you could hit the same exact keyword that you were getting on exact match in your broad match campaign, just not as many of impressions, but for way less money. So yes, anything that's working, don't turn it off. Don't negate keywords off your broad match when you put them into an exact match campaign. That is stupid. Just utterly dumb. Right? Same thing with auto campaigns. Why in the world would you ever negate a keyword that was doing well on an auto campaign or any campaign to slough it off and put it into a second campaign? At least test it before you do that. Create the second campaign. Guess what? I'll bet you $5 right here and now that it's going to do worse. The auto and the broad campaign are going to do better for that specific keyword. I've just seen it so many times.
So usually you keep your auto campaigns the same, and when you create a manual campaign with those specific keywords, you keep them in there, and that's your typical PPC structure.
Yeah. So if you had to like go a higher level, like how does PPC work with my Amazon guy? It's literally do every segmentation humanly possible, and then replicate based on the data, right? So like we're data-based PPC decision makers. But at the end of the day, if something is working, don't freaking turn it off. Like that's just bottom line. Like it's stupid, right? Now with that said, like I sell wine glasses. I have several brands I sell, including a brand called Monster. If I'm going to sell a glass, I know for a fact I'm never going to sell to somebody looking for a plastic version of this or an unbreakable or a stainless steel. So of course I'm negating out account wide those keywords. Like of course I am.
Yep.
but I'm never going to negate the term funny wine glass or funny beer glass when I'm selling this is the way beer glass is to take advantage of the Mandalorian, right? And by the way, I thought Book of Boba Fett, just to nerd out here a little bit, you know, they halfway through Boba Fett season, it felt like Mandalorian season 3, and I was like, oh, it's actually better now. And they ended it out on a good end. So anybody
I
that
love
hasn't
that.
seen that
Yeah.
yet, it's a good show.
It is a really good show. But going off of that though, with that particular campaign structure, I do agree that it's 100% to test all the formats possible, because within your particular category, you don't know what your competitors are pouring all their money into. So, for example,
Yeah, we do. It's sponsored products. They're pouring
yeah,
the money.
yeah, yes, that's true. Yes, and usually it's keyword targeting, but basically you can test all the different formats and see, okay, if all your competitors are pouring in their money in sponsored products and sponsor brand video, okay, then we can start putting more money in sponsor display, product targeting, and other things like that. And where it's a lot cheaper to go after those particular placements, so that way you can know where to divert more of your money to get the highest return back possible. So it's really important to test all the different formats that Amazon gives you, so that way you know where you can get the most bang for your buck. So I 100% agree on that blitz strategy there.
So I'm gonna share my screen and show you. So this is a wine glass that I launched, and it was organically ranked for the term wine glass #1 a year ago. In February of 2021, it got banned from advertising. And so if you're ever wondering, like, what's the impact of SEO on PPC, or PPC on SEO rather, here's your answer. Within 2 weeks, I dropped from organic position #1 on the term wine glass down to position 44. And I've been there pretty much ever since.
Wow.
So without ads, you cannot maintain organic position 1 on many of these keywords. So super important. But yeah, like, you know, it's really fun to see like how products come and go, and you can't marry to them. You got to let them go sometimes when problems happen. But this product right here, and the reason why I thought of it was because this is the first product that ever did well with display ads, first one ever. And I was getting 44-cent clicks for the term wine glass, or the wine glass category rather, on display targeting, and with a 20% ACoS. And of course, I threw thousands of dollars at it.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, this product's banned from ads now. You know, that ship sailed. I used to sell, 2,000 units a month, and now I sell, a couple hundred units a month if I'm lucky, right?
Yeah.
So it got banned from ads because it had the word drinking on it.
Oh
right?
my god!
Thank you, Amazon. Right? So Amazon, you stupid monopoly, you ban things that are stupid. I don't like it, and a lot of people can understand the complaints, right? I got a Christian T-shirt company that works with me in the past, and they got banned from advertising because Amazon didn't want to produce pro-Christian things on Amazon, right? Like,
wow,
stupid crap.
really?
Like that.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
And when you talk to the help file, they're like, "Oh, it was a mistake. It was a mistake." Then why is it still banned, Amazon?
Wow, that is actually crazy. I have another question for you. When it comes to DIY products, products that are in pieces and has to be made by customers, what are your suggestions to getting more sales on that? I would assume mainly through infographics and videos would be the most best format, like sponsor brand video ads to show that putting it together. What are your recommendations for DIY products there?
So there's 2 types of products on Amazon.
Yeah.
We're going to bucket all of them into 2 categories. You have demand co-op products on the right. These are Me Too products, slight variation. Maybe you took some marshmallow sticks and you made them 6 inches longer, right?
Okay.
like that's your Me Too co-op demand product.
Yeah.
Then you have on the left side, you have demand generation. These are your sham wow products. This is where Billy Mays comes into the chat and says, "Holy crap, check out this product here. I got a really cool beard. You're gonna buy this product because I'm a sham wow guy," right? A do-it-yourself kit is more of a demand generation type product. You got to show them to make them want to buy it. And you already gave over the best tips in your question. Make a video, infographics, show them how it's used. Bottom line. If you're selling sliced bread before everybody even knows what sliced bread is, you have to convince the market you're solving a problem they don't even know exists.
True.
Right? And fun fact, sliced bread took 12 years to catch on.
I did not know that.
So if sliced bread took 12 years to catch on, good luck with your new gadget that does gizmo things.
That's great. But yeah, it's really important, like especially on those convenience-based products that you really have to explain. Like on Amazon, it's really difficult to sell those products that require lots of explanation behind it. Like you said, you have 10 seconds to say why you need this product. And if your product requires information for the customer to learn, it's very difficult to communicate that very fast, especially if it's that new product with a new feature that most people don't know about yet. And that's why we go the more Facebook like education route and the external traffic to help the customer understand, okay, this is what it does, and get them like introduced to the brand and the particular product, so that way when we do sell them and guide them to Amazon or wherever it may be, it's a lot easier sell, so that way we can actually help educate the customer there, and bring them to the product page, so that way they actually understand what's going on. But those products are a lot more difficult to sell when it requires a lot of education.
I would say a demand generation Billy Mays product has like a 10% chance of success as compared to
Yeah,
a co-op demand product.
true.
With that said, if they succeed, the 10% that do succeed,
Hmm.
their sales will be about 100 times the
Yeah,
other guys. And so
yeah,
way more risk, but super more reward.
yep,
One
true.
of the brands I work with is called Chirp. They sell Chirp wheels. They're the #1 foam wedge on Amazon. Been working with them for 2.5 years.
Hmm.
They have 10,000 reviews on their products. All of them 100% real, no rebates, no external traffic. And the point of this is to say they had a product that did really well. It was kind of in the between the two camps. It was not necessarily co-op demand, but kind of was, and it wasn't necessarily sliced bread.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: they Billy Maysed it. They showed all kinds of videos, made it fun and funny
Mhm.
to use the product, and roll your back on this wheel, and made it stupid and TikToked it and whatever else. Right? People were crazy about this product. It's just a wheel. It's just a freaking wheel, but it's
Yeah.
a chirp wheel. So
Yeah. And like brand is like just goes the whole other level. Like, so that way, if you do have a strong brand, people will continue to like look for those particular products. And especially on Amazon, it really becomes a differentiator of like, oh, it's that particular brand. Like think about Nike. Like the actual shoe, it's not that valuable, but that like, that little symbol is worth
whoosh,
$1 trillion. That little thing. So it
makes you
really comes
think
down to
Michael
brand
Jordan,
building.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and like we really got to take away the Amazon, like, oh, I'm an Amazon seller. No, like you have to be building a brand, because you're someone's always going to be cheaper than you. Someone's always going to find a way to like
Win on price today, lose on price tomorrow.
yeah, 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 exactly. And it's really important to have that brand, because that's what's going to make you different than that other Chinese company. Because let's be honest, most people don't like to buy from Chinese companies, but if you have that brand differentiator, that's going to what's going to make you special, and where people actually buy from you rather than someone else. So that's what makes it valuable, by building that brand essentially.
I really hope USA manufacturing comes back. Made in America. I'm a patriot, right? Like,
Hmm.
but the truth of the matter is, it's probably 10 years out,
Yep.
unless we have like some geopolitical war with China, right? Like,
Yeah,
the manufacturing in the States is so freaking
expensive.
decrepit, is probably the correct word for it, right? Like, it
Hmm.
used to exist, but no longer does.
Yep.
B2B in the States does really well, right? I toured a manufacturing facility 4 or 5 years ago when I was trying to figure out like how to make stuff in America,
Hmm.
and they make a killing selling toilet seats, but not just any kinds of
Really?
toilet seats. They are fire retardant toilet seats, fire retardant toilet seats made for airplanes. And they're the #1 seller in the world of this. So can you imagine trying to sell toilet seats B2C in the space manufactured in the United States? Good freaking luck with that. But if
Yeah.
you sell a $250 toilet seat that's fire retardant and it's going to protect you on the plane, yes, that's made in America. So there's a
Huh.
long way things to come for B2C to make a resurgence in the manufacturing.
100%, 100%. So that's all we have time for today. I bet we could go for 4 more hours. I guarantee it. But that's all we have time for today. Steven, can you let them know where to find you? Like anything else there? So that way
If you like
people
the
can find you.
podcast today, just hit that like button, help Victor out. Send me an email to podcast@myamazonguy.com if you just want to say hi, or go over to my YouTube channel, which is where we hang out with our community, youtube.com/myamazonguy.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. That's all we have time for today. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks.
And this is the Marketing Perspective Podcast. If you want more information, you can follow below. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Peace.